The longer you stay in a city that's out of alignment, the more you're going to suffer monetarily, and as a result, the more health consequences you're going to have to face.
So many of you guys commented on this video right here. It's been brought to my attention that a lot of you are interested in astrocartography. The ninth house stellium, a Sag rising, and someone who's been reading astrocartography charts for 15 years, your girl has fucking wanderlust in her bones. And experimented with it myself, as well as reading astrology for over 20 years. Hi, I'm Jessica. I am your digital nomad that helps you understand your birth chart overlaid in the world so that you can help move to locations that support you depending on whatever it is that you're looking to do with your life. If you're looking for love, if you're looking for hookups, if you're looking for making more money, stability, ground, you want to buy a house, want to start a family, whatever it is, there is a line for that in astrocartography. I will preface this conversation with, though, that astrocartography is an advanced study of astrology. And I ain't gonna gatekeep. I'm just simply letting you know it's not a simple cut where you can look at a map and just, oh yeah, I heard Venus and Neptune's wonderful. I need you to know exactly where your Venus or Jupiter is placed in your chart. Like me, and you have your Jupiter, which is my chart ruler, in a T-square with Uranus and Saturn, that location, that Jupiter line activates that Uranus placement, activates that Saturn placement. So you get them all together. So it's really, really, really important that you understand every single placement in your birth chart, not just your sun sign, but I mean every single placement. All of the planets, the sun, the moon, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, Chiron, the nodes, because those will all show up on your astrocartography. The top 3 things that you will see when you're reading your astrocartography chart is, number 1, the major lines. The major lines are going to have a 300 to 500 mile influence around them. So you don't have to be directly under them. And I actually don't like living directly under a major line because that energy is major and it's consistent all the time. Then you have your minor lines. These are going to have a smaller distance or parameter around them of influence, and that can be 50 to 100 miles. And I have found that the minor lines don't stay consistent with energy. They are consistent only when that planet in your birth chart is being activated. And let's just use an example right now. Let's say some of you are going through your Saturn return in Aries at the moment, and Saturn is going retrograde as well. Well, transiting Saturn going retrograde, if that Saturn in your chart and you're living on a Saturn line and it's making a T-square to Jupiter and Uranus, both the Uranus house, the house that Uranus sits in, as well as the house that Jupiter sits in, is going to get activated during that time, okay? You feel the minor lines influence most during activation of a transit. The major lines and the minor lines run vertically, and some of them kind of go a little diagonal. The third most important thing are your parans. These are your planetary crossing lines, and they are latitude. They run horizontally. They are where your planetary lines cross. And those are consistent. Those are always felt, and they do get activated more with a transit as well too. Like I said, astrocartography is an advanced study of astrology, but your girl's going to put you on right now, okay? And I'm going to give you all the information, all of the free resources to help you start diving in to understand some of the best places that you can go to travel, that you can go to relocate to, whatever it is that your beautiful little heart desires. I'm going to give you the information and you can do with it as you please. Make sure that you're following along so that you don't miss any updates. Drop in the comments. I want to know exactly what's going on with you and why you want to move someplace, because you do need to have an idea. I think a lot of us feel like it's everything. It's all areas of our lives, right? And it can really feel like that a lot of times. But garbage in, garbage out. If you don't know and you're just thinking, I'm going to just move to a Jupiter line or a Venus line because I hear that they're the best, and you're not really focusing on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to build a legacy? Are you trying to activate your MC? Are you trying to be seen and break out and be, I don't know, the next new person? Or are you looking to retire and you want to move to a space where it's calming and nurturing and not as chaotic, and it really kind of just fits your coastal grandma vibe or whatever it is that you're wanting to do? You need to get clear on that. Without clarity, there's going to be more confusion of, why am I here? Why am I here in this new vibe, in this new city, and I'm experiencing XYZ with the new influence of those lines that you're on, and you weren't clear in the first place? So clarity is very important. So make sure that you're getting very, very clear and you're not just running to escape things, because the biggest lesson that I had to learn was, no matter where you go, there you are. You take your problems with you. So if you have unresolved issues, baby, those are coming with you, because that's your subconscious. Look at your 12th house, see what kind of placements you have there, and start working with that. But if you're not clear around it and you're escaping, or you're just thinking you can just, do whatever, I'm sorry to tell you, that's going to be a hard way to learn. But if you're like me and you learn the hard way, hey, fuck it. Throw it to the wind. Do your thing, baby girl. Make that happen. Make some moves, because you got one life, right? Okay. This is my absolute favorite website when it comes to free astrology. If you're new to astrology and you want to learn and use great tools, Astrodientist is the best. I don't know if I butchered their name, but sorry if I did. So to get there, you're just going to go to astro.com and it's going to pull up on this page. From here, you're going to want to go to My Astro and you're going to want to build a free profile. Now, once you have all those profiles built for yourself, and if you're like me and you like to build profiles for every single person in your family and your loved ones and past lovers, all of those things, because you love to just dive into the synastry, that's your hub. Now remember, you're going to need your date, your place of birth, and your time of birth. Your time of birth has to be exact. It can't be approximate. You need to have the exact time, okay? So once you're done, you're going to go ahead and click up here on the bars, and under free horoscopes, do the drop down. And you're going to want to go to locational astrology, astro click travel. This is the whole world. Astro click local space is the city that you live in. So if you're looking to move to a city and you've already decided where you want to go, then you're going to go to Astro Click Local Space. Here you can do it even more micronized. This is kind of like your feng shui of your actual living space, the Astro Click Local Space. So click on Astro Click Travel. Once you're there, in the drop down, you have options of all your profiles up here on the top. Click whatever chart you want to look at. I'm just choosing the chart of the day so we can look at this chart of the day. And then you're going to click go. And that's going to pull up the map for you. There are a lot of pop-ups on this site, which is pretty normal for free sites. Here we are. This is the chart of the day's chart. Now I hear so many people say, I don't have any good lines because I'm just out here in the ocean. Babe, we live on a circular planet. That line goes all the way around, and there is land on most, if not all, of the lines that you are interested in looking to go to. But remember, the first step is you need to know your chart. You have to know the insides and the outs of your chart. Do you have a day chart? Do you have a night chart? What area of life are you wanting to focus on when you make that move? You can't say, oh, I don't know, I just want to check out the vibe. Sure, go check out the vibe if that's your thing. You are strategically planning a move, which I highly recommend because it's uber expensive and can totally disrupt your life if you end up moving to a place that is worse than the place that you live. So here we see lines out in the ocean, lines running everywhere. I'm going to go ahead and just bring us on in to the United States. And one thing I want to know is you see these lines that have the circle. That is the zenith point. That is the highest concentration point of any line that you can live on right here. All of these other lines that are running vertically and at a slant are your major lines. All of your major lines will have a area of influence. Let's use these two right here. This person or this chart of the day, that is their Mercury MC line, and this is their Mars AC line. I would not want to live in Kingston because Mars on the AC, you can present very aggressive in your spaces. And you can find that other people just don't like your vibe. You make them a little prickly, if you will. You make their hair stand up because you have this Martian energy, which, remember, Mars is the planet of war, fighting, aggression, ambition, sex too. This might be a fun place to go if you're looking to do like a little vacation and maybe you want to have a little hot and spicy romantic situation, because that would present you as being this just super hot, spicy person. But don't expect longevity from a Mars line, okay? But that being said, if this person was like, you know what, I really actually want to move. I'm interested in checking out Washington, D.C., but, I still want a little bit of that Mars influence. Well, lucky you have a huge area of influence around all major lines. I would say between 300 to 500 miles from a line. So this person in Washington, if they were moving there, I don't know, they wanted to go to school. Mercury's wonderful for, education, higher education. They're still going to get a little bit of this influence from this Mars line. So now we want to look at the minor lines. The minor lines are really going to be as influential, but in a shorter proximity. Whereas these major lines are going to have like a 300 to 500 mile radius. That minor line is going to have maybe 50 to 100 miles of influence. In order to do that, scroll back up to the top of the page and go ahead and click with harmonious. So look what that did just by clicking the harmonious. You can see that most of this person's harmonious lines, minor lines, are going to be more on the West Coast. Let's go ahead and click on the disharmonious. And that's going to pull up the more challenging. Here we can see once we pull that all up, wow, we just got a lot more lines that are happening. Now, once you have all of your harmonious and your disharmonious lines showing up, you get a really good picture of everything. And I'm going to just show you how to further dive into understanding the lines and what are called parans. Let's go ahead and just choose Los Angeles. Now, once you click on that space, it's going to go ahead and populate up here in the right-hand corner what lines are most dominant in that area. This is the first one that's going to pop up. Now, to see the full list, go ahead and click on Show Details. This is going to give you a full understanding of all of the major and the minor lines up here at the top section that are in play with the area you're interested in. Underneath it, where it says crossing, underneath all of the major and minor lines here are going to be what are called your parans or your planetary crossing lines. Those typically run horizontally. Okay. These are just as important as your planetary lines, and why I say astrocartography is an advanced study of astrology, because you need to understand where, like for this person, you need to understand where their moon is. You need to understand where their Chiron is. You need to understand where the moon and Uranus is in their chart, where Saturn and Pluto is in their chart, where Mercury and Neptune is in their chart. Because even if you do a relocation chart for that, your planets do not change. They may change the houses that they're in depending on how far or how close your move is to where you were natally born. That's the only thing that's going to change in your relocation chart, okay? This person was born with a Venus Virgo, so this person is always going to have Venus in Virgo. But instead of Virgo ruling their 10th house, Venus and Virgo could be placed in their 3rd house or so forth. You see what I'm saying? To get a better understanding of each and every line, you can then click on the line and it shows you how far away that line is an influence from where you want to live. So as I mentioned, major line. This one is going to be your Venus MC line. This is a major line because it doesn't say a trine or it's sextiling anything. The trine or sextiling or square or opposition are going to be your minor lines. Okay, so clicking on the Venus line here, we can see it gives you a full breakdown of all of what you can expect on a Venus line. Now, mind you, this is a generic description of what can come for a person on a Venus line, but you have to know the placement that that person has. This person has a Venus in Virgo. Venus is fallen or in detriment or not well placed in Virgo. So would that be a good place for them? Probably not. It's not the most supportive, right? Because it is a fallen or not highly functioning placement. Same with the Pluto trine AC. You can go through and you can click on each and every one of them. And here you can understand what's going on with that. Same thing with your parans. You can click on that and see what is that going on, what's happening, right? So that's just a brief rundown of the free site that I would use to find your locational astrology or astrocartography. It does include the entirety of the world, and it takes your birth chart and it places it over the entirety of the world and the maps and what was happening that day. So look, I hear so many people say, oh my gosh, I have so much in the ocean. Everybody has them in the ocean, my babes. But if you know how to look at your minor lines and you know how to read your parans, that's how you can work around it. It's a lovely thing. Educate yourself. I'd love to answer any kind of questions that you have in regards to this. Or the next step, let's say this person was set on living in Los Angeles, right? Then I would want to go in and go to AstroSeek. And AstroSeek, you can look up AstroSeek relocation chart. Click on that. And here they have a free calculator for you. And it's wonderful because then you can just go in and put in your birth date, all of your information. You need to know, once again, the exact time that you were born. You need to have the birth city that you were born in, and you need to know, obviously, your birth date. Hopefully you know what all that stuff is. If you're new to reading a chart, click on extended settings. I always recommend that you go and you start with whole signs. Whole signs is going to give you a better, easier way to read it because each house is broken up into exactly 30 degrees. If you want to display your part of fortune, your vertex, your Chiron, your Lilith, if you want to display aspects to any of those, any minor aspects like your semi-sextile and so forth, right? A lot of places use Placidus as their just go-to. I don't know why, but you know, it's difficult. So I just go ahead and click on whole sign. That's going to go ahead and generate whole sign for you as the default, right? It's going to get you out of Placidus if it wants to save it. I think my internet is still dealing with the post-Mercury shadow phase of getting it shit together. There we go. And then when you're ready, you got your information, click, click redraw, and it's going to generate a chart for you. So I hope that that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you're interested in a personal one-on-one reading, because this seems like a lot to you and you really don't want to invest that much time and energy. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 15 years. I've been reading astrology for over 20. And it's my jam. I love to do it. My wanderlust itch gets scratched whenever I get a chance to look at the world and travel the world digitally when I'm not traveling the world physically. All right. Love you guys. Peace.